right, let's see if this goes better. So the title's not filled out yet. A lot of things aren't filled out, but I'm just going live on the fly since I had so many connection issues with the scheduled broadcast today for the podcast. So let's see if this goes better and see if anybody gets the notification that I'm live. So I will wait a few minutes to see if anyone's going to pop over. I see a couple of names already. Hi, Kim and Thea and Karen, Donna, Judy, Holy, Angela. That was crazy. It just kept popping out and out and out. Hi, Donna, Wendy, Geraldine, Marcia, Colleen, Cake Maker, Sharon, Joan. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to share that link again because that's what I wanted to talk about today. Hi, G. You can open the link now, you can open it later, it doesn't matter. I just wanted it there for reference. Hi, Sean. Good morning. Welcome back to the Kristin Omdahl Show. This is episode 1093, and it's our second attempt at it today. Having some sort of technical difficulties. It's not my Wi-Fi because it's very strong and I'm having no issues on my computer, but I'm having some sort of problem connecting with YouTube. Could have been because of the phone call that came in, but it happens sometimes without a phone call disruption, so who knows. Hello, Crazed Vintage Model. Hi, Angela. Hi, Judy. Okay, so a few people came back over. Hopefully other people do too. And all I can say is I'm sorry. Nothing I can do, nothing I could have done any differently, but I apologize for the inconvenience. So basically, I did want to get back to that question though, asking if you can use a different yarn in any of my patterns. And I just wanted to say, over an 18-year career, over 900 patterns, over 22 books, not once have I ever told anybody you must use this crochet hook size, you must use this knitting needle size, or you must use this specific yarn. I've never said that. I've always shared the generic equivalent first. This is how much yarn you will need to make this. And this is the gauge I got with this size knitting needle or crochet hook. They are merely suggestions. You then have the wonderful opportunity to choose what works for you. And whether it's based on budget requirements, aesthetic, just personal preference, allergies, whatever, you can always make your own choices when making a pattern. And I feel badly that someone even thinks they need to ask that, so I want to make sure that I explain it explicitly, because you can always, always, always choose whatever you want to make something. Let's see. Thanks, Kim. Oh, Angela, she already voted on my website. Wonderful. So we'll share the links that we shared earlier in the broadcast about the Crochet Design Challenge, the new knitting course, and the pre-order of my new book. We'll share all those in the video description. But what I wanted to get back to is, since this is the day, Tuesdays is the day that we focus on talking about charity and giving back and being more active in our communities. And so I shared a blog post that I wrote a while back, but is still very relevant. And that is different donation items that women's shelters and homeless shelters and other people in challenging situations might like to have. So if you're going to make this crochet shawl that we have been doing this whole season, if you're going to make the Easy Breezy shawl to give it to somebody in need, you might want to think about other things to give along in your care package. So if you follow that, you don't have to follow the link right now, I'll read the list to you, but here are some other items that different shelters have shared with me over the years that they like to receive, that people that come to them. Think about it. If you have had to leave your home with or without small children, it's usually without a whole lot of resources, without any money, without any support system, and sometimes it's with the shirt on your back. I know in my own personal experience with domestic violence, I have left with the shirt on my back more than once. That's a tough place. I, knock on wood, never had to go to a shelter. I always had a friend or a family member to turn to sleep on a couch or something. But when you're displaced like that, it is often without very many resources. So I want to share with you some of the things that you may, and if you've never had to think about this, wonderful. I'm glad you've never had to think about this. But it also gives us an opportunity to be more sensitive to what really happens when someone gets abruptly put in a very challenging situation. So here are some of the things to consider to give to local shelters. And keep in mind, these are things that you can constantly be on the lookout for at clearance bins or at discount stores, right? So the first one is bras and sports bras. Think about it. If you had to leave in the middle of the night, did you remember to grab your bras or your sports bras? Probably not. Underwear, socks, toiletries, including deodorant, soap, shampoo, ponytail holders, hairbrushes, all sorts of things like that. Pads and tampons, I'm sure those can always be donated, right? God forbid you left in the middle of the night and needed those in the morning. My goodness. Pajamas, diapers and wipes, always, always needed. And here are some other things that are maybe things that, those might be things that you would have thought about already, but here are some other things. Cosmetics and nail polish. And the reason you might say, oh, well, who needs that? What if you're trying to find a new job? Think about it. Over the years, I have what is it? It's a thrift store that donates to the women's shelter here locally. And so I make a point to, anytime I've had to donate suits or dressier clothes, I always make a point to donate them there, keeping in mind that somebody might be having to go out and get a job while in a shelter or while staying on a friend's couch. And so cosmetics, nail polish, and dressier clothes and shoes, dressier bags, things that you would need to wear to an interview or to a new job, those are things that would be needed too. Yes, those first couple days, once you're displaced, yes, comfy stuff would be great, but eventually you need to get back on your feet too. And so having professional things or things that give you a more professional finished look, so maybe it's earrings, nail polish, cosmetics, a nice dress for an interview, or a suit or shoes, things like that. Bus passes and gas cards, right? If that person has a car, they're going to need money for gas, right? They have no money and no income source at this moment. So if they have no car, bus passes, and if they have a car, gas cards might be really, really valuable too. Prepaid cell phones. Chances are, if you've left a domestic violence situation, your phone, even if you could have kept it, it's going to be getting blown up the next day from all sorts of threats and other crazy stuff. I've been through it too many times myself personally, and I've seen it too many times with others that not only is it extremely stressful to have someone blow up your phone in a situation like that, but sometimes it can mean the difference between being whittled down and going back and not. Shutting that phone off, whether you own it or he owns it or whatever, changing your number or even just starting all over is probably the easier way to not go back. You know, they say that on average someone goes back to an abuser several times before they actually permanently leave. And I think one of those reasons is because the conversations that ensue after the blow up can sometimes convince you to go back. And there's a lot of reasons for it, and not always what, if you've never been in the situation, it's not always what you think, but you know, you don't get to a serious domestic violence situation without someone whittling down your self-esteem first. So it's, anyway. Prepaid cell phones would be great for not only for emergency calls, not only for getting a fresh break from your abuser, but how about if you don't have a phone because he shut your phone off? How about getting callbacks for interviews too? There's a lot of reasons to have a new phone and a new phone number. So prepaid cell phones would be a great addition to a care package. Travel size soap if you need something for washing your hands, washing your body, washing your clothes on the go. Depending on where you are, you may not have access to laundry facilities. So lots of stuff to talk about there. And I am going to have some really exciting news to share with you about soap in the near future. So we'll touch back on that in a couple of days. Things to quietly entertain children: coloring books, crayons, books, and small toys. Things that don't make a lot of noise, especially if you're in a group environment, staying on someone's couch, or in a shelter. You're going to want to try to find ways to entertain small children that don't make a lot of noise. And journals for writing. I sell journals on my website, and I sell them on Amazon. You can buy other journals anywhere else too, but one of the biggest parts of self-healing is getting those thoughts out of your head. And if it's somebody that hasn't had access to counseling or therapy, the first step in therapy, in my opinion, is talking to yourself, and talking to yourself, whether it's in journaling or some other way of getting those thoughts out of your head, would be super powerful too. So let's read that list quickly now. So bras and sports bras, underwear, socks, toiletries, pads and tampons, pajamas, diapers and wipes, cosmetics and nail polish, bus passes, gas cards, prepaid cell phones, travel size non-toxic soap, coloring books, crayons, books, and small toys, and journals. And this is not an all-inclusive list. This is a very small list of just ideas to help you enhance your care packages. Honestly, a shawl made where you put your love in every single stitch is a great start, but some of these other things would make a really well-rounded care package. Yes, purses and tote bags, absolutely. A bag of any kind, yes. Hi, Melanie. Great, good for you, Bonnie. Oh, that's, yeah, I am aware of that sometimes the county shelter provides dresses for going to the judge to get a personal protection order. I have heard of that as well. I know here, when I had to testify against my abuser, I know that they offered to have a comfort person. I can't remember what they called her, but there was a woman who sat with me in court, and I didn't have to go into court till the last minute, so I didn't have to be in the same room with the abuser till the last second. She sat right next to me with a box of Kleenex or tissue, which was very useful. It was very emotional experience. Advocate, yes, victims advocate. That's what they're called. That's right. All right, does anybody have any questions? Obviously, that list is not all-inclusive. It is just a starting point. It's just me sharing some ideas to inspire you to put a care package together. You can do all sorts of things. You could write a motivational letter. You could write encouraging words. You could share all sorts of things with somebody. You could make more things. Make a little stuffed animal. Make a little stuffed animal for the kids that will be in the shelter. You can make all sorts. If you live in a colder climate, hats and mittens and scarves for the moms and the children. And I do want to always point out that there are men that get abused through domestic violence as well. 1 in 3 women will be abused by somebody in their lifetime, and 1 in 4 men will be abused at some point in their lifetime. So yes, this list was geared towards the feminine side of products, being that I was talking about women's shelters, but you could also customize this list for men that are in a serious situation too, because it's not just men that you're welcome, Speckled Yarn Bug. It's very important to me to always bring up men, because men are abused as well, and they just don't get the same kind of attention that women do. That's great, Kim. Yeah, it's very important to me to point that out every time. I know it's easy to, when we talk about domestic violence and talk about all the details of how scary it is when men hurt women, it's hard to, I've noticed that sometimes it's hard to step back and go, wait a second, it's not because they're men, it's because they're abusers. And there are abusive people that are both masculine and feminine. Yes, that is true too, Bonnie. As the economy worsens, as things change in our lifestyle, in our culture, and in our country, anytime situations get harder, people definitely have more abuse situations. That is true too. Thank you, Irma. Yes, this is my crochet mandala wall hanging. You can find the recipe, you can find the pattern on my website. Domestic violence awareness is October. The month that is dedicated to it is October, Kim. All right, does anybody have any other questions? If you have other donation ideas you would like to share, please leave them in the comments today, because if there's something that I can add to my list, I'd love to, and maybe we can inspire other people, because I know lots of people like to read the comments in all of my videos, including me, and you'll see that I reply to everybody as well. So if you want to share some of your ideas in the recorded videos comments, then we can be inspiring other people on things to give, and I can maybe even update my list with more ideas as well. Okay, and if you didn't get a chance to already and you would like to, please vote for the Crochet Design Challenge on my website. You just need to pick which project, which stitch pattern, and which color yarn you want me to make my next crochet pattern in. And once I get the results, I'm going to let the poll last about a week, and once I get the results, I will share with you, and then through the podcast and through however else, I will take you on a deep dive behind the scenes of how I make and set up the entire crochet pattern, okay? From designing it, writing it, sizing it, laying it out, publishing it, and making videos and all that fun stuff. There's so much involved behind the scenes that if you don't know, it might be interesting. And if you're an aspiring designer, hopefully it will give you some tips and pointers for knowing what to do in your journey as well. Yep, manicure kit's a great idea, Craze Vintage Model. All right, does anybody have any other questions? Yes, I just shared the link from my website. I can share it again. You can leave a comment there too if you'd prefer. There's a link to the article on my website. Don't be sorry to ask. I'm happy to share anything I can and happy to answer questions. Carrie started the second knitting course this weekend and loves it already. Wonderful, Carrie. I'm so glad. Yay. Wonderful. Can't wait to hear what you think when you finish the course. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. It is very, very detailed. You're welcome, Kim. All right. All right, I don't see any other questions. If you have questions 5 minutes from now, an hour from now, whenever, always feel welcome to come back and leave your questions in the comments, because I get notified of them all day long and I answer everybody's questions. Also, the links for everything we've talked about today in the first broadcast and this one will be in the video description. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.